Part 30. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 291. After attending the simple wedding of Feng Aihua and Guan Qiuying, Feng Qingxiu took her sister home directly. However, seeing the love from others, she missed Lu Zhang more and more. In the blink of an eye, he has been away from home for more than 2 months. For 60 or 70 days and nights, every day and night was filled with longing. During this period, Feng Qingxiu wrote 7 or 8 letters and sent them to Lu Jiang's army, but they all fell into the sea like mud. Except for the initial telegram from Lu Jiang, there has been no news until now. Feng Qingxiu doesn't know how his injuries are recovering, or when he will undergo the next operation to remove the 4 shrapnel. No matter whether the letter could reach Lu Jiang or not, Feng Qingxiu insisted on writing to him. As soon as she finished writing, she heard Wang Jiao's voice outside the door. Xiaoxiu, Xiaoxiu. Wang Jiao called her name several times, and then came in like a storm. She smiled and stretched the box she was holding in front of Feng Qingxiu. Look, the pride was palpable. What? Feng Qingxiu stuffed the written letter into the envelope and looked at the box in front of her curiously. At first glance, she raised her eyebrows slightly. The box looked familiar, it seemed to be the packaging box for watches in department stores. She and Lu Jiang bought watches together and recognized them instantly. Wang Jiao's next words and actions indeed responded to her guess. The opened box revealed a watch. On the day of your cousin's wedding, Zhang Yu came to my house to hire an employee and bought a watch specially for me. After 3 rings and 1 beep, I also have a watch. Turn it. Zhang Yuejin said that when he gets rich in the future, he will try his best to turn it 3 times and I will tell him I will wait. Shanghai brand women's watches are calm yet sophisticated. Wang Jiao carefully put it on her wrist for Feng Qingxiu to see, and said with a smile, I didn't even expect that he would buy me a watch. It's a Shanghai brand. I heard it would cost him 2 or 3 months' salary. This watch makes everyone envious. Those who said she was too lazy to persuade Zhang Yuejin to break off the engagement had their eyes as red as rabbits. Feng Qingxiu smiled and took a serious look at the watch. I remember that Shanghai brand watches require a ticket to buy. Money alone is not enough. My cousin put a lot of thought into it, right? Of course. Wang Jia kissed his watch happily. Zhang Yuejin's unit received 2 watch tickets, 2 bicycle tickets, and 2 sewing tickets. There are so many employees in the unit, so it's not like they can give it to everyone. So the final winner was determined by drawing lots. Zhang Yuejin was lucky and got a bicycle ticket, but he had a bicycle and there was no need to buy another one, so he exchanged the watch ticket with his colleague, who was about to buy a bicycle, so everyone was happy. Feng Qingxiu said, Congratulations, cousin, your cousin-in-law is so kind to you. She knew that Wang Jiao liked to hear people say that Zhang Yuejin was good to her, so she did not hesitate to speak. Wang Jiao took off the watch and put it back in the box. Your Lu Jiang is so rich, why can't he buy it for you? I don't believe it. People in the army are rich, and I heard from Zhang Yuejin that they all buy imported Swiss watches. Feng Qingxiu pursed her lips, smiled and did not answer. The Rolex that Lu Jiang bought for her has never been worn in front of outsiders. It is only used at home to tell the time. When it comes to Lu Jiang, what should she do if she misses him even more? A watch that Wang Jiao showed off aroused the longing deep in her heart that she could hardly suppress. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 292. Looking forward, it was not until the first snow fell that Feng Qingxiu heard the voice she wanted to hear most. Xiaoxiu, your family has a letter from Lu Jiang. Feng Qingxiu couldn't wait to put on her military coat, walked quickly with her belly full, and quickly opened the door. Stopped at the door was a postman pushing a bicycle. He looked so cute in green in the snow. Now, from now on, you can just deliver everything from Lu Zhang directly. Wang Qiao, who was leading the way, said to the postman. The postman dusted off the fallen snow on his body and said with a smile, "Okay, I'll remember it. I'll deliver it directly here next time. It's not from Comrade Lu Zhang, but I will also deliver letters and packages addressed to Comrade Feng Qingxiu. Come over." He often delivers letters and has never seen Feng Qingxiu receiving letters and things frequently, so he is deeply impressed by Feng Qingxiu. Feng Qingxiu hurriedly thanked you. "I'm sorry, comrade." "No trouble, it's what I should do. This is my responsibility." "Comrade Feng Qingxiu, this is your letter and package. Please accept it," the postman said as he took out a large package and a thick stack of letters. "Hand it to Feng Qingxiu." After thanking the postman again, Feng Qingxiu said hello to Wang Jiao and immediately returned to the house. From beginning to end, she didn't even glance at the package. She hurriedly opened the envelope and found not just one, but 7 or 8 letters, each of which was written by Lu Zhang himself and marked with a date. Feng Qingxiu opened the first letter he wrote after returning to the army according to the date. "I love Qingxiu. Seeing the words is like meeting. I arrived at the army safely, but I already missed you so much that I wanted to fly back to my hometown and see you happy. However, I shoulder the responsibility of protecting my family and the country, so I can only put aside my personal relationship with my children. I hope you can forgive me. A few words, full of love." His last signature was Your Zhang. These 3 words made Feng Qingxiu couldn't help but smile, and her heart was as sweet as drinking honey. Are letters so straightforward now? Before, she and Lu Zhang had always communicated very well, and she was afraid that she would make people laugh if she wrote one more sentence of love. Opening the second letter, Feng Qingxiu's smile became even stronger. "Dear wife. I went to the hospital for a follow-up visit, and Dr. Guo said that the recovery was good and beyond her expectations, and that the surgery could be arranged early. Following Dr. Wu's instructions, I returned after follow-up consultation. Sister-in-law Xiuying, with the help of brother Zhao, often helped me with massage and acupuncture. The arms and legs that had not received acupuncture and massage by Dr. Wu improved greatly and no longer hurt. Although I don't feel any pain, I miss you very much when you massaged me with medicinal oil in the dead of night, and I hope to recreate the scene again. Love you, Zhang." Every letter is filled with sweet words. Feng Qingxiu couldn't stop the smile on her face, and read each letter one by one until she opened the last letter. "My love. It's not that I don't want to communicate with you, but I have a new mission and I'm not allowed to communicate with the outside world. The letters you wrote have already arrived at the army, but as soon as they arrived in my hands, I have memorized every word and sentence in each letter, wishing that they were engraved in my bones. However, the paper is so thin that it is difficult to describe the deep feelings. The surgery is scheduled for early December. Dr. Guo is very confident. I hope you don't worry. How are you doing lately? Is the child well behaved? If he doesn't behave, I will spank him when he is born." Finally, the content of your letter is not only about family matters, but also family matters. Even if the food harvest at home is good, I am still unhappy. After reading it, my only thought is that you don't want me, and I hope you can correct it quickly. Your River. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 293. Idiot. Who said I don't miss you? Feng Qingxiu read each of the 8 letters 3, 4, or even 5 times, holding it tightly to her heart, talking to herself and laughing until she burst into tears. It was hard to imagine that Lu Zhang wrote a letter seriously. Correct it quickly. Okay, I'll correct it now. Putting down the letter she received, Feng Qingxiu immediately unfolded the paper and started writing like water. After writing, seal it. During lunch, Feng Qingxiu said to her two nephews, Tianjun, Aiken, come into the city with me tomorrow. Lu Tianjun and Guanchen nodded directly without asking why. I understand, auntie. Father Lu asked more, what's the matter? It's nothing important. I'll just ask the two boys to run errands while you rest at home. Her belly was getting bigger day by day, and in the freezing weather, Father Lu couldn't trust her to go out. Feng Qingxiu shook her head. Ajiang's letter said that he would undergo surgery in advance, scheduled for early December. It's only a few days away. His comrades sent a lot of nutritional supplements. I sent him some, but they didn't reach his hands. I'm afraid I've already had an operation and it's time to make up for it. Ajiang sent me his salary, and I have to go and get it back. Many of Ajiang's comrades died, and his family's life was very difficult, so Ajiang left their home to me. I'll send them some money and food stamps. In addition, one of Ajiang's comrades in the northwest named Huo Biding didn't send anything, but he sent a lot of military supply stamps, including food stamps and material stamps. I want to use the food. Exchange the tickets for some food and send them back to him. The conditions there are difficult, so the reason why so many food stamps are unused must be because there is not enough food for them to receive. For example, Huo Biding has 40 kilograms of food stamps every month, but the local situation makes it impossible to sell him 40 kilograms of grain, or the core canteen can only supply him 30 kilograms of grain every month, so 10 kilograms of food stamps are what's left is left. The Northwest region is well known for its harsh climate. Regions are divided according to local economic level and living conditions, also called wage zones. The country is divided into 11 categories. One category has the best conditions but the lowest wages. For each category above, the salary will increase by 3%. The places with the worst conditions are Qinghai, Xinjiang, Inner Mongolia, and other places. They are the 11th category areas with the highest wages, but the areas are remote, the conditions are difficult, and materials are extremely scarce. The capital is a Category 6 area, Shanghai is a Category 8 area, and my hometown is also a Category 6 area. Huo Biding in the 11th category area, the most lacking thing must be food. The food that Feng Qingxiu first sent to the northwest was for Huo Biding. I don't know if he has received it now. So Feng Qingxiu exchanged the military supplies he sent for supplies. All the food was sent to him. Some of the other supplies were sent back to him and some to Lu Zhang. She only kept 8 kilograms of cotton tires for Wang Jiao to make. Dowry quilt. Wang Zhenqiu and Miao Fengqin had only such a daughter. They had saved a dowry for her very early. Before liberation, they took shelter in the Lu family. Their living conditions were actually very good. There was enough fabric and cotton in the house to make clothes and quilts for Wang Jiao. The two quilts are silk and satin respectively, with gorgeous colors and eye-catching colors. Wang Jiao was wearing a Shanghai brand watch, a red sweater she knitted herself, black trousers she made herself, and blue tang leather shoes. She was wearing a red cotton padded jacket instead of a jacket outside the sweater, without a jacket. A cotton padded jacket made of red satin, with a stand-up collar, a slanted lapel, and gold flowers on a red background. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 294. Miao Fengqin claimed that it was an old material from the time when she and Wang Zhenqiu were married, and had been saving it for her daughter's dowry. Satin is satin, it's very beautiful, and it doesn't match the simple house. Amid everyone's envious looks and tone, Wang Jiao applied friendship cream to the mirror, and the light fragrance surrounded her. After Quan Fu had combed her hair and tied a red flower on her temples, Wang Jiao tied on the red gauze scarf Zhang Yuejin had given her before and looked around. Where's Xiaoxiu? Why haven't you seen her? She's so far away. Even if it snows heavily, she will not stop coming. As soon as she finished speaking, her sister-in-law Wu Kuiwa smiled. Xiaoxiu is pregnant and cannot appear in the room where you leave the cabinet. Have you forgotten, although it is an old custom, everyone abides by it? That's it. Wang Jiao also wanted to show off her beauty to Feng Qingxiu. Wu Kuiwa could see what her sister-in-law was thinking at a glance, and couldn't help but smile. I'll jump in to pick you up in a moment. When you go out, Xiaoxiu will definitely see you in the yard, and she will also feel that the bride is so beautiful. And your dowry, everyone in the team is envious. Wang Haiping and Feng Xiaowai covered their mouths and laughed. The scene where Wang Jiao goes out to the house is no less than the scene where Lu Zhang gets married, and it will definitely be talked about for many years. Without him, Wang Jiao's dowry would be huge. It's true, not false. A complete set of new furniture made of old elm wood, polished to a smooth finish, including a wardrobe, table, chair, box, cupboard, toilet basin shelf, a pair of enamel basins, a pair of red pillow towels, a pair of pillows, 2 satin quilts, and 2 large boxes. When Feng Qingxiu first entered the house, although her dowry was quite large, there was no furniture, and the furniture was quite large. Another more important thing is that Wang Jiao will marry Wang Jiao to the Zhang family with 400 kilograms of grain, so she will have no worries about food and drink for the next year. In addition to the watch, the Zhang family also gave 66 yuan when they hired her. Wang Zhenqiu and Miao Fengqin both took it back to their daughter without leaving a penny behind. In addition, they prepared the money and stuff at the bottom of the box. Zhang Yuejin wore a brand new military green polyester cardigan and badaling 3-jointed leather shoes, looking particularly energetic. He pushed the bicycle, followed by a mule cart and an ox cart borrowed from the brigade, driven by the young man who was welcoming the bride. Feng Qingxiu was wrapped in a military coat, a military hat, and a big scarf. She stood under the eaves hung with countless icicles and smiled at the lively scene in the courtyard. She watched Zhang Yuejin pick up Wang Jiao and looked at the dowry. The ground was loaded onto the car. It cannot be called Shili Hong Chuang, but in the countryside, it is no less than Shili Hong Chuang. With this dowry alone, Jiao Jiao will have the confidence to live her whole life when she comes to her husband's family. She will not be bullied by her husband's family. Feng Qingxiu heard people around her talking like this, and her envy was mixed with jealousy. She envied Wang Jiao the most because she had Wang Zhenqiu and Miao Fengqin. These parents, as well as 3 pairs of brothers and sisters-in-law, are all her supporters. The Zhang family will definitely not dare to bully Wang Jiao. The party secretary really loves his daughter. No wonder Zhang Yuejin has always refused to break off the engagement, even though Jiao Jiao is full of problems. It sounds like what you are saying is that the Zhang family is trying to give Jiao Jiao a dowry. The Zhang family's conditions are poor, but Zhang Yuejin is not bad, and he treats Jiao Jiao well. Jiao Jiao is also lucky to be able to marry Zhang Yuejin. It was windy outside. Feng Qingxiu did not continue to listen, and went directly into the house, only to see her eldest brother Feng Qinglei. Although he ignored his sister, Feng Qinglei didn't want to lose Wang Zhenqiu, a powerful uncle, so he came to Wang Jiao's wedding on behalf of himself and his brother's family, and paid $1 as a gift. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 295. Feng Qingxiu paid 3 yuan, and then paid 2 yuan for Lu's father. When she got married, her aunt, uncle, and aunt gave her 5 yuan, but she couldn't compare with her elders. Both Feng Qinglei and Feng Qingyu are deceased. The 2 brothers Feng Qinglei and Feng Qingyu are 2 families. They should each give their own gifts. Now only Feng Qinglei comes forward from the 2 families, and only 1 yuan. Many people laugh at them secretly. Don't know how to behave. This is not a question of poverty, but a lack of heart. Wang Fengqiao sighed, you 2 brothers have no ambition at all. Feng Qingxiu declined to comment. The couple were talking when they suddenly saw a middle-aged man in his 40s walking outside. He had long eyebrows and handsome eyes, and a tall figure. He was wearing a straight-fitting Chinese tunic suit made of 80% new woolen material, with bedeling on his feet and jeweled flowers on his hands. Wearing a pair of glasses on the bridge of his nose, stamping his feet, shaking off the slush on his leather shoes, and called Wang Fengqiao Miss. Feng Qingxiu didn't know whether the lady he was talking about was the daughter of Miss Qinjin, or the youngest sister according to the ranking. She only heard Wang Fengqiao's expression on her face and said calmly, "The fourth child is here? This is really a noble man's footing. Fourth child? Isn't that uncle? There are 7 Wang Zhenqiu brothers and sisters, with Wang Zhenqiu as the eldest, followed by Feng Qingxiu's aunt Wang Fengmei, second uncle Wang Zhengtao, third uncle Wang Zhengai, mother Wang Fengying, aunt Wang Fengqiao and fourth uncle Wang Zhenjun. Look at what the lady said, this is also my home, why has it become a cheap place?" Wang Zhenjun spoke with a 3-pointed smile and looked very elegant, but Wang Fengqiao said rudely, "Oh, it's not easy. You actually know that Wangla Brigade is your hometown. It's a pity, you are a noble person who has made a rapid rise, we the Wangla Brigade is naturally a lowly place and cannot afford the presence of this noble man like you." When Wang Zhenqiu heard that his younger brother was back, he quickly left the relatives and friends who were entertaining him and walked into the house. After hearing this, he scolded his little sister, "Fengqiao, why are you talking?" "Brother," Wang Fengqiao respected her elder brother and immediately stopped talking. Wang Zhenqiu turned to Wang Zhenjun and smiled, "My youngest, don't be angry, your lady has this temper. You don't recognize the girl next to your lady, do you? Shui, come, let me introduce you, this is your fourth uncle." Feng Qingxiu stepped forward and smiled politely at Wang Zhenjun, "Fourth uncle." Noticing the military coat on Feng Qingxiu's body, Wang Zhenjun's face showed a hint of confusion, "Brother, who is she?" "Oh, you haven't met her before. She is your second sister's eldest daughter, Qingxiu, and she is now married to our Wangla Brigade." Wang Zhenqiu just introduced them to avoid strangers when they meet in the future, and then changed the topic, "Youngest one, it's rare for you to come back. Let's have a drink this afternoon." He prepared wine for the wedding banquet, but it was just bulk wine brought from the Supply and Marketing Cooperative, which could not be compared with the Maotai when Lu Zhang got married. Wang Zhenjun clapped his hands and said, "Just listen to Big Brother." Wang Zhenqiu pretended to invite him out. Wang Zhenjun dusted off the non-existent snowflakes on his clothes and stepped out of the hall door first with his head held high. Wang Fengqiao was so angry that she almost rushed up to argue with him. "When you come to your brother's house for a wedding banquet, is there anyone like you who can stay ahead of your brother? After working as a worker in the city for several years, I really think of myself as a person. Auntie, don't be angry. You see, my uncle is not angry at all." Wang Zhenqiu scolded his aunt, but he was polite to his fourth uncle as if he were entertaining outsiders. This is the difference between closeness and distance. He blamed his aunt first, "I'm afraid. I am worried that my aunt will be resented by my fourth uncle. After all, I would rather offend a gentleman than a villain." Wang Fengqiao calmed down after hearing this. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 296. The Wang family set up a wedding tent, with 12 tables under the tent. The people at the first table were all relatives of the Wang family, and they were relatively close relatives, such as Wang Jiao's uncle and uncle, Wang Fengqiao's husband, and the father-in-law of the 3 brothers Wang Dachun, Feng Qinglei, and so on. If Lu Zhang was at home, Lu Zhang would also have to sit at this table. Since ancient times, guests have been respected, and even Wang Zhenqiu from the Wang family is not qualified to sit at the table. However, Wang Zhenjun sat at the table unceremoniously and sat in the upper position. The father-in-law of Wang Dachun's three brothers and Chen Dazhuang, Wang Fengqiao's husband, were chatting nearby. They didn't even sit down. Seeing this, they looked at each other and turned to sit at the second table. Wang Zhenqiu cupped his hands and apologized to them from afar. What is he here for? To ruin Jiao's happy event. Wang Fengqiao wanted to rush out when she saw this, but Feng Qingxiu quickly caught her. Before Feng Qingxiu could speak, Miao Fengqin came in with a gloomy face, obviously very unhappy. Fengqiao, don't go. You are a married aunt. You can't come forward. Your eldest brother knows it all. It's such a good life for Jiao. What's he doing here? If he doesn't come back for a few years, he'll cause trouble when he comes back. He's putting on such a stinking air. I see, there is nothing wrong with going to the Three Treasures Hall. After a few glasses of wine, your elder brother will definitely be able to trick out something. Miao Fengqin comforted her sister-in-law with gentle words. Don't think about it, in our Wanglu brigade, can he still turn the world upside down? My eldest aunt, my brother-in-law, and my sister-in-law were all trained by my husband. I know their respective temperaments very well as the eldest brother. That's right, Auntie, Sun Wukong can't climb Tathagata Buddha's 5 Fingers Mountain. Wang Fengqiao's face looked better. The banquet is about to begin, you should go sit down quickly. It's cold and the food won't taste good when it's cold. I was about to tell De Guza that I won't serve at the table, Feng Qingxiu said. Miao Fengqin and Wang Fengqiao heard this and asked what was going on. The wedding tent is well ventilated from all sides, and the dishes are almost cold when they are delivered to the table. I will go home to eat, and there is a big family at home. Lu Zhang was not at home, and Lu's father was concerned about his status and was unwilling to attend. Feng Qingxiu didn't like eating at the same table with a group of big men, especially Wang Zhenjun, who was frothing at the mouth describing the beautiful life in the city to his brother, so she had to persuade him to refuse. Despite Miao Fengqin's persuasion, she returned home before the banquet started and the family ate no less than 8 bowls. After the meal, the children went to wash the dishes. Feng Qingxiu stood under the eaves and prepared to eat in the yard. However, she saw Zhang Arya peeping his head and waved to her. Arya, what can I do? Come in and tell me. Zhang Arya crossed his legs and rubbed up to her, with a mournful face. Aunt Chue, I may be dying. Feng Qingxiu was startled. What's wrong? I just moved into a new house and stocked up on enough food. Good times are yet to come. Why are you about to die? Silly girl, don't talk nonsense. Wang Zhenqiu kept his promise. After the autumn harvest and before winter, he gathered local villagers to build 4 adobe thatched houses for a few children. The boys lived in the west room, and there were many girls, so they lived in the 2 east rooms. And because these dolls don't have beds, they have specially built a kong that is only available in the north, and it is connected to the kitchen stove set up outside, so the winter is not difficult. The work points of several children did not meet the standard for receiving rations, so Feng Qingxiu gave them more than 20 yuan in advance. Zhang Arya's tears fell down and she choked up and said, I'm really going to die, Aunt Chue, I've been bleeding for 2 days and it hasn't stopped. When the blood runs out, I will definitely die. Feng Qingxiu's heart moved and she quickly asked where the bleeding was. When she found out clearly, she couldn't help but feel very funny. Silly girl, you have grown up and are not going to die. Come in and I will tell you. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 297. The sanitary belt ticket that Aunt Su gave Feng Qingxiu could no longer be used after Feng Qingxiu became pregnant. However, she still bought a sanitary belt with the ticket before it expired. Later, she made several sanitary belts imitating them. Use it to fool people in the future. The sanitary products prepared in the space must not be shown to others. You can use them secretly and burn them after use. Seeing Zhang Area menstruating now, Feng Qingxiu gave her 2 sanitary belts she made, one to use and one to take away for replacement. At the same time, she gave Zhang Area 2 rolls of toilet paper. It's 150 cents per roll. The paper is rough and the color is black. You can buy it at the supply and marketing cooperative without a ticket. It won't bleed in a few days. Remember to be hygienic during this period, don't catch cold, and don't use cold water when washing dishes or clothes. Feng Qingxiu made her a bowl of brown sugar ginger tea and watched her while it was hot. Drink it. I remember that the production team gave you some private land in the summer. Although each person only had one piece of land, they planted a lot of vegetables and ginger. You go home and make some ginger soup for yourself. I remember. Aunt Chue Zhang Area's face turned red and her voice sounded like a mosquito moaning. After drinking brown sugar ginger tea, my stomach felt warm and it didn't seem to hurt so much anymore. She used to bleed and thought she was about to die, but now she knew it was a sign of growing up. She was shy and happy that she no longer had to die and could live a good life. She was really afraid that she would not starve to death or freeze to death, but bleed to death. And die. She had finally managed to live a life with a house to live in and food to eat, but she couldn't bear to die or let go of her group of friends. Feng Qingxiu felt sad. Go home and lie down for a while. The Kong in your room is connected to the stove and is warm. After sending Zhang Area away, she welcomed an angry Wang Fengqiao. What's wrong with Aunt? Are you still angry with Uncle? Wang Fengqiao sat down on the chair. Do you know what he came for? Feng Qingxiu shook her head. She had never met Wang Zhenjun before, how could she know his purpose? It's time for the eldest son to get married. The wedding will be held in the city in 2 days. I feel that no one at home will look good on their family, so I came here today. I said, nothing is wrong. When I went to the Three Treasures Hall, it turned out to be true. What's even more annoying is that Xiao Xiao didn't even give me a cent as a gift. I don't know if he forgot or did it on purpose. As an uncle, he should give at least 5 yuan as a gift. For him, who earns dozens of yuan a month, 5 yuan is really not much. Feng Qingxiu did not comment on Wang Zhenjun's actions, but asked, is the 4th uncle's cousin or a cousin? When is the date set? Will we all go then? I'm 1 year older than you. Why are you called Wang? It took Wang Fengqiao a long time to remember. Oh, your grandpa named him Degeze. Your 4th uncle thought it sounded ugly, so he changed it to Wang Mingxian. There's a wedding in the bureau's canteen, the day after tomorrow, October 28th. What your uncle means is, go, let's all go. He's unkind, and we can't be unjust. Isn't it just 5 yuan? During the dinner, he said that everyone could just go and watch the ceremony, as if others couldn't afford 5 yuan. Mining bureau? I remember you said before that your uncle works in a coal mine in the city. Feng Qingxiu said doubtfully. Coal mines and the Bureau of Mines are not the same concept. Wang Fengqiao said, your 4th uncle was transferred from the mine to the mining bureau last year. He is a secretary. I just said it at the banquet. My daughter-in-law is the daughter of a deputy director level cadre in the mining bureau. What is her name? We don't know the situation. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 298. The daughter of a deputy director level cadre of the mining bureau? Feng Qingxiu thought of Wang Quilin, a division level cadre she knew. If Wang Quilin and Wang Zhenjun are in the same unit, then Wang Quilin must be the immediate boss of Wang Zhenjun's family. The difference between director level and deputy director level is not just as simple as the words director and deputy. I'm going to attend Wang Mingxuan's wedding. I wonder if I'll run into Wang Quilin. He originally said that he would visit her and Lu Aiheng when he came back, but he and Lu Zhang returned home together, getting married, treating injuries, studying medicine, and being busy with farming. Things happened one after another. Auntie, when we go to cousin Mingxuan's wedding, will we meet auntie? Feng Qingxiu felt blessed in her heart, and suddenly remembered that she had an auntie. If we meet, auntie, you have to remind me, because I haven't had one before. I've seen her, but I don't know her at all. Wang Fengqiao's face looked very ugly. They are both from the city, have a good relationship, and often interact with each other. They will definitely meet her. Feng Qingxiu patted the back of her hand and said, Auntie, be considerate. We have food and drink anyway, so we don't expect them to live. People go to higher places and water flows to lower places. People with high status look down on those with low status. It's human nature, even if the muddy legs haven't been cleaned. Wang Fengqiao hummed, and then suddenly said, I told you to go with your uncle. You are juniors, so you don't have to go. Why should you give them money to spend? You didn't see them when you got married. There are more than a dozen of you brothers and sisters from the two families. For 3 yuan each, they received 40 or 50 free gifts. How can this be such a good thing? It's okay if you don't have to go. The weather is getting colder and colder, the roads are difficult to walk. Feng Qingxiu is pregnant with Liujia, and she doesn't want to join in the fun. Wang Mingxuan's wedding date is October 26th, which is December 3rd in the Gregorian calendar. It was the day Lu Zhang had surgery. Because Lu Zhang took good care of himself, the operation went very smoothly and the remaining 4 shrapnel fragments were successfully removed. Once the shrapnel is gone, there will be no worries. After staying in the hospital for 10 days, the wound was not infected. With Dr. Guo's consent, Lu Zhang returned to the army to continue recuperating from his injury. During this period, he felt no pain but was happy, radiant, and ambitious, and was ready to start a career after recovering from his injury. Before that, he was worried that the shrapnel would not be removed. If it cannot be taken out, the body will be left with permanent troubles. It will be a trivial matter to suffer from long-term pain. What I fear most is that I will not be able to go to the battlefield and continue to serve the country. What is a soldier called a soldier if he cannot go to the battlefield? It's done now, all the shrapnel has been taken out. Zhao Yang came in carrying big and small bags and saw Lu Zhang with a smile on his face. Hey, what are you so happy about? Did you expect that the things and letters sent to you by your brothers and sisters have arrived? Your face is like a flower, but the flowers are not beautiful. Too dark and ugly. Have the letters and things Qingxiu sent me arrived? Lu Zhang was overjoyed and pulled out a chair with one hand for Zhao Yang to sit on. He only had surgery on one arm and one leg, but the other arms and legs can move freely without any impact. Now he appears at the training ground every day on crutches to supervise the soldiers in the training regiment. He is now the leader of the regiment. He has made first-class merit and has been promoted to 1 level, replacing Zhao Yang. Zhao Yang has naturally been promoted to 1 level and is still his immediate boss. Zhao Yang put the package on his table and patted it in front of him. Hey, I got it for you. Lu Zhang grabbed the letter in his hand and was about to open it when he suddenly looked at Zhao Yang. The letter and things have been delivered, why haven't you left yet? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 299. He must open and read letters from his wife in a quiet place. After careful calculation, this letter should have been sent by Feng Qingxiu after receiving her letter. I don't know if the content has been corrected. Tisk, Zhao Yang laughed. Anyway, I am the hero who delivers letters and things to you. How can you be like this? Just throw me over the wall after you get the things. Lu Zhang didn't care, he only had his wife's letter in his eyes and heart. What was written in the letter? Will it be full of affection? instead of recounting trivial matters seriously. Okay, I won't joke with you anymore. Zhao Yang straightened his expression, stood at attention with a snap, and saluted him with a military salute. Comrade Lu Jiang, on behalf of our former comrades and soldiers of our country, thank you my love. Lu Jiang was stunned for a moment, returned the gift, and then asked, what happened? Zhao Yang put down his hand and whispered, I just received a call from Huo Biding, asking me to thank you and your lover for your life-saving grace. He also wrote a letter to Comrade King Xiu. He just sent it out in 10 days. If you can't get to your house for half a month, call us first. He used a military phone to connect with his own troops, which is more convenient than telegraphing. What's going on? Lu Jiang frowned. Did you know? The rations in Huo Biding have been as low as 3 kilograms of cornmeal per month. 3 kilograms, what does it mean? It's just our 3-day ration. Zhao Yang had tears in his eyes. The environment there is harsh and the summer heat is so hot. It is hot, the water drops turn into ice in winter, and the sky is filled with wind and sand in spring. There is no rain in normal times, which is not conducive to the planting of crops. Naturally, there is no harvest. Moreover, because it is thousands of miles away from the central plains, transportation is inconvenient, and the ethnic minorities there are in constant unrest, so they should be sent there. The supplies cannot be transported at all. Feng Qingxiu sent the food and Huo Biding saved his life and that of a dozen comrades. When the food arrived, they had been without food for 3 days. Because their food was given to the local people who had no food, and they drank water from the snowy mountains and dug weed roots to feed themselves. It is almost impossible to catch the local wild rabbits, which have been hunted down by the hungry people. Therefore, when he received Lu Jiang's letter, he had no way to exchange things and send them to Feng Qingxiu, so he had to take part of the unused military supplies and send them to Feng Qingxiu. Lu Jiang's family was in the 6th category area and had military supplies. He and his comrades were in category 11 areas. They had tickets but could not buy sufficient grain and non-staple food, so they saved a lot of tickets. He never expected that he would receive food from Feng Qingxiu shortly after sending the military supplies. These grains allowed more than a dozen of them to extend their lives and wait for the belated rations. Without these dozens of kilograms of grain, they would not be able to survive the arrival of the rations. After hearing this, Lu Jiang closed his eyes hard. His mood could not be calmed down for a long time. The soldiers had no food. You can imagine how difficult the conditions there were. Hell on earth is not enough to describe it. I have never heard Qingxiu mention this matter. Lu Jiang opened his eyes and said to Zhao Yang. Zhao Yang wiped his face fiercely and patted him on the shoulder. Good brother, you really married a good wife. She is a good wife, a good role model for our soldiers. When I received the call from Huo Biding, it was hard for me to imagine. It's hard to imagine that my sister-in-law would send food to Huo Biding. Her one act of kindness saved the lives of more than a dozen soldiers in our country. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 300. Lu Jiang was immediately proud after hearing this. His wife, his lover, the mother of his children, her kindness moved the world. How could Zhao Yang not see what Lu Jiang was thinking? But he must admit that Feng Qingxiu did an extremely good job, even he was ashamed of himself. When I received the call, I couldn't believe it. Now I'm going to discuss with the senior generals of the army to see if we can transfer a batch of supplies from our army to the northwest. We can't let our soldiers shed their lives and blood at the same time. They will still be hungry and cold. When we are not on the battlefield, it doesn't matter if we eat less, the food we save can save their lives. Lu Jiang agreed very much. Call me before the meeting. I am willing to do my best. Okay, I'm leaving. I won't bother you to read the letter. After Zhao Yang left, Lu Jiang couldn't wait to open the letter, and what he saw was Feng Qingxiu's beautiful and elegant regular script, full of romance. Zhang, my dearest lover. You said I don't miss you, but that's not true. After we parted, my longing for you has already turned into a dice. Do you know that the red beans embedded in the exquisite dice make you miss me deeply? Therefore, after receiving the letter, I wrote a special text message to convey my love to you, lest you say I miss you in the next letter. So, you know my thoughts, can you listen to me detail the recent trivial matters at home? When I am at home, I want to tell you about my affairs. When you are away, I hope you will tell me everything about your affairs in detail, so that I can relieve the pain of missing each other in the two places. My father is well at home, my niece is healthy, lively, and growing up, so there is nothing to worry about. The baby in my womb is very well behaved. I eat, clothe, warm, and sleep well. I don't mention spanking him, lest he grow up to hate you for being unkind. There is one thing worth mentioning. I forgot to tell you before. The aunt in Guancheng and Guanyu is actually Aunt Su, whom you and I recognize. It is really a coincidence. Now that Aunt Su and Guancheng have recognized their relationship, neither the old nor the young have any intention of making it public, and do not want to let outsiders know, so as not to cause trouble and cause unnecessary trouble. The children in the ruined temple now have new homes and enough food rations. They can look forward to a better life next year. My cousin's wedding has been completed, and my cousin's wedding date has been decided. I'm very happy. Recently, I often receive things from comrades in arms, and everything is thoughtful and appropriate. They are all nutritious specialties. However, no one said what they need, and did not submit the word exchange. This shows that the love between comrades in arms is as high as the sky and as deep as the sea. Sincerity extremely so. Therefore, I sent a certain amount of food respectively, and I also sent a certain amount of money and food stamps to the families of the martyrs who died on the battlefield with you. Huo Biding, a comrade in arms from the northwest, sent a thick stack of military supplies stamps, food stamps, and cotton stamps, which is enough to show that he is motivated but powerless. I was afraid that the conditions in the northwest would be difficult, so I sent some grain in advance when I first milled flour after autumn. After receiving the military supply ticket, I learned that the local food was not enough for them to collect according to the ticket. I was secretly grateful for my previous move and planned to send it when I sent this letter. The food stamps he sent were exchanged for food in our hometown, and we sent them all in the hope that it would relieve their worries about famine and help them live longer. The environment is harsh and life is difficult for our comrades, but I don't know how your injury is doing. Did the operation go well? You secretly eat the nourishing things I sent and don't give them to others. It's not that I don't want to part with them, but that I'm afraid of getting into trouble. Paper is short but love is long, so let's stop here. I hope that when we get together, you will be as strong as ever and my appearance will not change. Kiss you, kiss you, kiss you passionately, kiss you 1,000 times. Deeply in love with your Snow.